Welcome to the Power of Great. I'm your host, Matt Crane, and every single week we come to you right here on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, SoundCloud, Stitcher, with one mission in mind, and that's to help you recognize that your current situation is not your defining moment. We do that by talking to entrepreneurs, CEOs, 9-to-5ers, but more importantly, we do this by talking with people who have done the very thing we talk about. And today we got my man Jeremy Haynes, CEO and founder of Mastermind Marketing. You know, Jeremy is known as the go-to millennial for all marketing, automation, and advertising needs for businesses in dozens of industries. As the CEO and founder of this advertising agency, which is based out of Miami Beach, Florida, you know, Jeremy is recognized as creating some of the highest grossing digital marketing sales campaigns in the history of the godfather of sales, Grant Cardone's digital advertising space. You know, he did that as his digital marketing specialist. And with the help of the creative team behind Jeremy there, man, he produced massive results. You know, Jeremy's customers and clients come across from all different walks of life across the globe and regularly acts as a marketing advertising advisor to celebrity personalities, New York Times bestselling authors, and entrepreneurs. My man, Jeremy Haynes. Welcome to the Power of Great.
What's going on, Matt? Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you. You know, Jeremy, the power of online is meeting people, connecting with people, and creating relationships that can turn into real meaningful things.
100%.
And that's something that you and I discovered. We discovered one another through Grant Cardone.
Yep.
And then it kind of transitioned into an opportunity to discuss business. Then it transitioned into an opportunity to create a friendship. And,
Yes,
you know, in the last 60 days, you've went from big ideas to big everywhere. So talk to us about that transition, my man, and what's really been happening for you in Megalodon Marketing.
Let me give you the psychological side of it first, because this is a really good question. So as an entrepreneur at all times, I've had the same belief and the same validation internally for what I've externalized now with materials and advancements in my business from the time that I jumped ship from Grant's office and started my agency. So the entire time, it's very important to understand that I've had the same mentality that I've had back then right now for growth, materializing my goals, my ambitions, creating a company. I run a 13-person agency now. We've cut dead weight and had an extreme expansion in all areas since. We just actually headquartered. I'm talking to you guys right now in my office in Brickell here in the financial district downtown. We have expansion in Los Angeles. I mean, you know, the only thing that's happening right now, to be honest with you, Matt, is just things are materializing. The things that I've already believed in, the things that I've already been doing are just coming to fruition around me. Offices, people, opportunities, business, clients, networks, friendships. I mean, everything. It's just from constant belief and pushing, man.
Well, and you know, I think that brings up another excellent point. You hear a lot of times now, especially with this thought leader category that's sitting out there in the world because of online marketing and web-based programming. I see a lot of people talking about think it into existence, then speak it into existence, and then it happens. So, but for the most part, what I heard you talk about is that, hey, it materialized because you worked your tail off.
Yeah,
So walk us through, you know, make sure that our audience and our listeners and all those entrepreneurs out there understand that, like, while you thought it, man, you mastermind, you notated, and you put the action items behind it. Walk us through a day in the life of planning Megalodon Marketing and Jeremy Haynes.
Dude, this is the best question. All right, so from the jump, it's been nonstop focus, tactical plays, maneuvers, finessing of every opportunity you can imagine. I mean, I've had to be extremely tedious about what I can market, what I can't market, when I can market what I can do in the marketplace, my expansion goals, drives, not overscaling in critical times. But all of that originates, of course, from thought. But none of that can materialize without the action. I'd actually, you know, one of my old clients I was working with, Greg Reed, Greg was given the same ability that Napoleon Hill was by the Napoleon Hill Foundation to travel the world and interview the most successful people to gather commonalities in who they are and what's built their wealth and success, to try to find those common principles of what's built them into the people they are, right? And one thing that he found is they all had the same concept that you just brought up to me. You have to start with thinking, you have to transition it into action, and then the actions will materialize into things around you. So without action, you're not going to move. If you're one of those people who just hangs a vision board on your wall and then just looks at it and doesn't do anything. Like, I have a vision board on my wall. Dude, I segmented that thing into 3 different pieces. I update that thing constantly. Just last night, I dropped a video on my Facebook of me walking up to my vision board and pulling off the new office that I'm talking to you in right now, because I did it. And now I need to replace that goal. It's dynamic. It's always moving. The game never stops.
Well, and I think, again, is you bring up another excellent point. I think something that everybody looks for a niche. You know, digital advertising, social media marketing, everybody looks for a niche. But for you, you really are a true digital marketing advertising tactician. Like, everything is tactical, from the initial conversation to the follow-up to the process. I mean, that's something you do exceptionally well, and it's almost intimidating for people that aren't really prepared, right? We were talking a little bit offline. You know, one of the conversations you and I had was based around that very thing, and I was like, man, I wasn't as prepared as I needed to be when we first talked.
Yeah,
and it was also humbling. Mm-hmm. Because I was able to go back and say, you know what, he brought up this, he brought up that, he brought up this. And that's something that I think is super important. So, you know, to that aspect, you're very, very, very successful at social media strategy, development, and execution. Mm-hmm. You know, so kind of walk us through Megalodon Marketing, what they do with their customers from a social media strategy development standpoint, and then how they go out and execute that for their clients and their customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So Megalodon Marketing, I refer to it as a digital agency, but, you know, we have a specialty. We specialize in personality brand development, specifically with celebrities or people who want to become celebrities. You know, what do I mean by that? You have to have real results in real life to really step into the limelight nowadays. Otherwise, the internet has become so transparent that you're going to get washed out from just being a phony or a fake. You can't fake it anymore. You have to have real results in real life. And if you want to do what my clients do every day, they sell information. So they sell tangible and intangible information products. People like Grant Cardone are a great example. Probably the widest known person that I can refer to right now. You know, he has the online university. That's an intangible product. It doesn't exist in a material way. It doesn't have mass. It's just all digital. Whereas he has books, he has physical merchandise now. He's materialized items, both tangible and intangible, that you can sell to people, right? So all that transitions into a lot of action. I mean, Grant taught me what's called omnipresence, and that your biggest problem as an entrepreneur is overcoming obscurity. Well, me being a digital marketer and working for Grant, I came up with the omnipresent advertising model. So every client that we work with, after they meet that criteria of having a tangible or intangible information product, the want and desire to expand that, they need the attention. They have to have that small little fan base of just doesn't have to be a lot of people, man. Numbers don't lie, but the smaller that niche, the more engaged your audience is, the higher success that my company can have. So we come in, we create content, we distribute the content. We are going hammer time for you, creating an omnipresent advertising model around your existing fan base that we re-engage and then sell to through retargeting mechanisms. And we attract new members to your fan base after we've had that engagement from your current fan base. So check this out. You take a piece of content, you show it to the people who are going to like it first. Then the sheep effect occurs. You take that post, get it out there to the people who don't know you yet, who you want to attract into your fan base. Let them see that you already have engagement, that you already have people showing love to you, and let the sheep effect occur. People don't want to be first. They don't want to be the wolf. Most people are betas. They will follow along with what others do. Leave the breadcrumb for them. And then after you bring the people in and turn them into fans, dude, sell the shit out of them. You need to be omnipresent around these people at all times, everywhere they go. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Medium, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, the new Marco Polo app. You have to be in front of them every single time. As soon as they log into the app, your goal should be that they see your pretty face and that you're trying to either sell them something or deliver extreme value to them or collect their information to sell them something via your marketing automation, follow-up campaigns, phone calls. Doesn't matter. You literally have to be in front of these people you want to sell every single day on social. And most people have the ability to do that nowadays when they understand their target customers. So we kind of create that model for people.
You know, there again, everyone, we're live right now on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Pandora, the Power of Great podcast with my man Jeremy Haynes, CEO and founder of Megalodon Marketing. And what he just laid out for you is that most people try to be the piece of bread, when in reality, you just need to know how to leave the bread crumbs. And I think that that's such a great point, and something that so many business leaders, I think, fail to really expand upon, is knowing that it's the breadcrumbs that really are the most important and what most people are looking for. So something else you're extremely talented at and and highly sought after is this digital advertising. And I really want you to take a moment, if you can, and break down why advertising is different than social media marketing and why there's a lot more intricacies that are involved there, if you don't mind.
Great question. So let's start with social media, right? So just so we have a clear definition of what we mean by social media, it doesn't mean you just have a page. That doesn't just mean you're posting something in Hootsuite and then it gets brought out. That means that you're actively looking at the person that you want to sell to, wherever they may be, delivering extreme value to them to get them constantly engaged with you. But that constant engagement, that has to turn into revenue. Every business owner that I talk to ever comes to me and they're like, okay, Jeremy, so, I get that there's these likes and that there's comments and shares, but like, how does that shit turn into dollars? Like, where does the money come in? Okay, great question. That's where advertising comes into play. So this isn't your common traditional advertising. Same thing. Let's define this together real quick. Traditional advertising, dude, you spend tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands. And if you're balling, you spend a couple million on TV, radio, print, and it sucks. You can't track it. You can't get a conversion. It was very commonly used for brick and mortar businesses. And this is a completely different age. I actually just got published about this in the Huffington Post for an article talking about, our grandparents, let's go back further. Our great-grandparents used to know how to make money, and it was a certain way. And then they taught our grandparents how to make money. And then our grandparents taught our parents how to make money. And the system was still similar, but around our parents, that's when things really started to change. And I'm 22, so like my parents right now, they're in their 40s. So about 20 years older than me. So just 20 years ago, 90s, let's say, okay? 1990s, shit started to change. The computer started coming about, okay? The digital age started occurring. And this enormous difference plays out, whereas people my age who are the entrepreneurs who understand digital marketing are the ones that my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents look towards for business advice now. So in digital marketing, now that we have that definition, you have this cost-effective medium that can not only get in front of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions if you have the budget, but you can target the shit. You can narrow down your ideal customer to the fact that they just got a divorce, they have 2 kids, their favorite food is an acai bowl that they eat on Tuesdays, they do yoga, they wear Nikes, they have a black card in their pocket with 3 lines of credit, they like to wear flannels, and they shop at Nike, and they spend about $10,000 a month there, and they make about $300,000 in a year. The creepy amount of targeting options that I have through Facebook alone is the #1 data source in the world right now to target. That's what people refer to as Big Brother that they're creeped out about. So the easiest way that I define this for people who don't know what digital advertising means, just think of what you think Big Brother might be. You can target people down to really creepy stuff. So once you have that defined, okay, this is my list of characteristics who my ideal customer is, you take all that engagement that you get on social media, boom, you target people with ads now that are relevant to the value that you showed them. You're going to get conversions out the wazoo. You're going to see about a 6 to 9 times lift in your conversion rate on average when you attract the right kind of person into social media, sell to that person via digital advertising, and follow up with them with marketing automation through tools like Infusionsoft, Salesforce, even just general marketing like even MailChimp can work in some cases.
Yeah, I absolutely love that breakdown. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call him a true tactician in the game, because everything's methodical. Everything's methodical. Everything is a thought process. Everything is a skilled move. He's playing chess, then he's playing checkers, then he's playing Risk, then he's playing Monopoly. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that's what's very important. So, Jeremy, what you really started to break down towards the tail end is another great thing that Megalodon Marketing and you bring to the table is the analytics and reporting base of all that you're doing. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs out there, people who are trying to do all this on their own, I think this is the part where a lot of them get overwhelmed. It's how do they read all this stuff? How do they understand their conversion rates? How do they know what's working and what's not working? So for the clients that you work with, and then when you really start to break down the analytics and reporting, why is that another important layer of Megalodon Marketing? And what are you really able to show your clients or those looking to work with you how what you do really works?
So the only time that you should ever factor emotion into business is in a creative process when you're trying to inspire yourself via an emotional distressing point or like a problem solution scenario to a customer. Every other move in your business should be a tactical, logical, data-driven decision. So what that means for the question that you just asked, to simplify that, is every single action that we take as a company is based on data. And to have a decision that's based on data, we have to collect analytics. To collect analytics, it's pointless for us to collect them and use them internally if I'm not reporting it to the client as well. So let's use the example. I take over someone's social account. We're building websites, landing pages, marketing automation. I mean, we look at everything. We look at each social medium individually. We look at the stats all the way down to a specific post of likes, comments, shares. We try to measure what works, what doesn't work. And then this is what Grant taught me. Grant taught me you always repeat successful actions. So pointless to create anything. Everything should be a creation off of something that's already been successful, already had a successful action in play. And then you just build off that and you make it better. So, we don't do what doesn't work, and we do better what did work. And we literally document that. So each one of my clients, whether they choose to leave us, which only 2 have out of the 17 people we've been in business with for the last 10 months, get a literal document handed to them weekly of successful actions and failed actions. And then what our future actions are going to be based on those 2 reported on documents. So it's extremely important to make sure, once again, you're making tactical plays. I've made so many of the best decisions I've ever made in my life off of data, of just flat out giving myself what I need in front of me to make a move. Why not define the parameters for yourself to act within, rather than just going off of an emotional whim of what you think might work?
Yeah, and you know what? That I love the end of that. Instead of making an emotional win, business should never be made about emotion. The emotion should come after the win, right?
Absolutely.
And so
you build off that. That's momentum. After you get a win, you celebrate it. You fucking build off that. You ride the wave.
I love that. Yes, ride the wave. Build on the momentum of the win. I love that. I love that so very much. Well, another cool thing you've got going on, man, we've seen you everywhere. We've seen you in LA. We've seen you in North Carolina. We've seen you in Florida. We've seen you all over the country. But here recently, you've really been promoting this awesome mastermind opportunity on a yacht.
Yep.
And, so how can people know more about that? How can people get involved in that if it's something they want to do? And what was the, what was the tactical move behind the mastermind on a yacht?
So, just to answer your question there, to be honest with you, it's a really exclusive, intimate event. It's not like, I'm surprised even that you bring it up, because it's not something I actively promote to try to get a mass of people to come to. This is a handful of select people out of the network that I've spent tens of thousands of dollars getting in front of, that are going to come to an intimate experience to give to others, that I want to see that value given to. So it's a very highly qualified event. But anyway, so I kind of segued to that point. I've spent a lot of money going to masterminds, is what they're called, and just to educate the entrepreneur listening to this, I didn't know what a mastermind was at all until one of my old clients, Greg Reed, had told me about it. He said, "Dude, I got this event. It's 150 of the world's most elite entrepreneurs. It's called Secret Knock. Why don't you come out? I'll comp your ticket. You and I will do business together. That'll be the intention of me comping your ticket." Dude, I went to this thing, changed my life. Every single connection that I met was somebody who ran a successful business, already had done something that I was trying to do. I was able to seek counsel from those that had already gone down and trailblazed the path that I wanted to follow. I was able to get that hands-on advice, wisdom. I was able to build those people into my network, right? And then I'd gone to a few others. I can name a few, but one of the more recent ones that stuck out to me, I was in the LA Hills. I went to the Beard Club Manor, which is ran by the Dollar Beard Club gentlemen, Chris and Alex. Incredible people, man. Incredible opportunity, incredible environment, but more of an intimate environment. This wasn't hundreds of people. This was only about 50 to 70, depending on the day. It was in the hills. It was very secluded. There were meditation practices. There was very organic food. We had an IV in the back of the room where the presenters were, that were dripping minerals, vitamins, essential nutrients, essential oils right into my bloodstream in the back of this room. It was incredible. It was a great way to unplug. And it was just being around incredible people. So, in my day-to-day, it's a goal. It's not just something I passively do. It is a goal to be around people that meet or exceed the people that I've met at these entrepreneurial mastermind events, right? And I get so much out of them. The value from them is crazy. You get hands-on experience from people who have done things that you're trying to do. And to be with those people for 1 to 3 days, very intimate, high impact style of content to deliver, right? So one thing I've found is all of them are in California. Every mastermind I've gone to, all in Cali, brother. None of them are out here in Miami Beach, So what was I tired of? Well, dude, I'll tell you what. I was tired of having to fly across the country 5 hours, and then I was tired of losing a full day or taking a red eye back to Miami. So I brought the mastermind here. I said, well, how can I step it up? I said, I want to have a very, very exclusive handful group of people. I want to take this and I want to put it on a yacht. So I'm actually taking people out for 8 hours on a day on a yacht. We're just having hands-on experience with each person's business individually and collectively. And then we're going to the Fountain Blue for about 8 hours the following day, where everybody gets to stay there for the night. Just 2 beautiful days in Miami, best time of year to come. It was, to be honest with you, it was kind of a selfish play. The tactical side of it comes from, like I said, me achieving a goal of being able to bring those people into my life again. Not really for profits. Every cost that we cover is literally just to cover the expenses that we have. And it's just to create environment for other entrepreneurs to thrive. So it's a networking play.
I love that, but I also love once again, the tactical side. You were tired of flying across the country to do something you love to do and wanted to do anyway, so why not just bring it to you?
That's right,
and I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs solve bigger problems, because they get tired of going somewhere else to get their problem solved, so they just solve a problem where they are, and then they help other people do the same. So Jeremy, another thing that I think is very important is that, man, you were in Grant Cardone's office, one of the biggest well-known celebrities in the game, and people don't understand just how big of a celebrity he really is and how he created that. And so you're 22. Most people would think they got their dream job. They got it made. But, man, you had this hunger about you. There was something bigger. So what drove you to saying, you know what, I got to step out and do this on my own? And were there any fears going into this right away?
Dude, fear is non-existent in my lifestyle. Fear is the best sign for me, because I think a lot of people misinterpret fear for uncomfortability. I really don't believe in fear, to be dead serious and not like cheesy or give you guys some facetious quote. I genuinely believe that fear is just a misinterpretation for uncomfort. And there's a level, of course, to everything in life, and uncomfortability has a level. And when it reaches a certain point, you can look at it as anxiety. You can look at it as fear. You can look at it as shaking and screaming and fearing away from opportunity. But at the end of the day, it's just you're uncomfortable with whatever it is that you're going into. You don't know what you know. So sourcing back to your question, dude, being in Grant's office, I mean, keep in mind, from 16, I was in business. So from 16, I had a video production company. I had 3 failed companies in between the ages of 16 and 20 when I had stepped into Grant's office. And every job I ever went into, dude, that's what it was. It was a job. I knew that I wasn't, it wasn't my end goal to be stuck in a job. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So as soon as I stepped into Grant's office, going back to the fact I'm tactical, I absolutely, from the jump, had a very tactical maneuver the entire time that I was building and building and building and building and just amassing all this experience. And then at the end, I had to play into little events to like upset myself to get myself to leave, because it was hard. I mean, they've created such an incredible company culture there and are a true shark environment. And I wouldn't be half of who I am if it wasn't for being in that office every day, 5 days a week for 9 hours a day, just being around the people that I was around. I mean, the best lessons, the best opportunities, the best optimization to my current thinking had all been built inside of those walls. So I owe a lot to Grant. I respect everything that he does, and I love every person in the company equally. But, to answer your question, I didn't have fear, dude. I knew it was time. Like 13 months into that thing, once you walk in somewhere and they're making 40,000 and you leave and they're making almost 2 million a month, and I'm not taking full account for that number. I'm saying that it was a team effort, but being in the background and being who I was and knowing what I do, I know what I did. I know the role that I played. I know the role that other played. I recreated those same roles that were critical in their company within my organization to repeat similar success. Because like I said, I was trained for repeating successful actions. And just jump ship. It was sky, man. It was go time. When you're an entrepreneur, you know when it's coming. You got the itch. You're fiending for it. And it's really about how can you leverage yourself out of that opportunity into your next opportunity. I knew I'd take a financial haircut. I knew it would suck ass, dude. I knew it. I knew I'd get tore up. And excuse my language. I knew I'd get fucked over in business. I knew people would disrespect me from my age. I didn't care. There weren't any like fears in front of my goals. My goals and my North Stars were always in front of my face. No matter what I always wake up every day and I'm just thankful to be an entrepreneur. I'm thankful to have the opportunities I'm thankful for the people who have, been a part of what I've done and are a part of what I do. And, have given me the gift of being a client. I mean, every day you just have to be absolutely thankful and remind yourself of the good things. Because as an entrepreneur, dude, you can tear yourself up with all the bad.
Well, and I think it's a lot of the bad that comes off the heels of if you're really walking in your purpose as an entrepreneur, not only are you stepping out of your comfort zone, but you're forcing other people to do theirs, to step out of theirs. And that's where I think that's where a lot of that criticism comes from, is when you're so full of purpose that for most people at your age comes off as arrogance. 10 years from now, it's going to come off as supreme confidence. It's so funny, right? I mean, when I was 22 playing sports at 18, doing the same thing I was doing at 22, people said, this guy's full of himself. He thinks he's too good at 22. It's like, oh, this guy's going places. Hey, at 32, bro, they were like, this dude's got it together. You see what I'm saying? And it's so funny to me how the mind really does transform the way everybody sees things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you have to have the faith to call forth the things that yet not exist as though they were. That's a Les Brown quote. I'll say it again. You have to have enough faith in yourself and your dreams and your goals to call forth the things that do not exist yet as though they did. You have to literally bring somebody air when you are trying to sell them something that you don't have materialized, and you have to somehow sell them on this idea and concept that you're the person to do it. And you really have to base it on historical results. A lot of entrepreneurs, they don't have that self-awareness to understand what you just said. They don't have the self-awareness to know that when they're 22 and they're still playing sports and they know they're going to go till 32, they get held up by other people's opinions. They get stopped right in their tracks, like running into a wall, getting destroyed, losing all momentum, depleting themselves, and then stopping because they weren't doing it for the purpose. They were doing it for other people if they ever get stopped. If anybody ever stops, if anybody ever quits, it's because they didn't have enough drive and enough belief in themselves to overcome others' enormous amounts of criticism you'll always receive as an entrepreneur. So you really have to believe in yourself, man. That comes with self-awareness.
Yeah, I love that. That's one thing Gary Vee says is he's the most self-aware person on the planet, and look what he's been able to accomplish. But, you're a tactician. Once again, you're going to continue to hear this word with Jeremy Haynes as he continues to grow his business and he continues to expand on his wealth. But so what's the next tactical move for Megalodon Marketing, and what can we expect next from Jeremy Haynes and the team there?
I have moves going on all the time. So, I can tell you about what's going to happen this week or next week, or, I can tell you about all the new clients coming on. What I would tell you is going to be the next big play, like the next really big play right now. I'm at a 13-person level with the agency that I have. I've invested tens of thousands into business processes, systems, business development specialists, because I'm 22. I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. So I hire people to do things that I don't know, which in this case is teaching me business development. I need to know systems, processes. I need to feel like I truly have mastered the rules to break them. That's an Audemars Piguet quote. It's actually an advertisement I saw on a billboard the other day driving through South Miami. You have to master the rules to break them. So I feel like right now I'm trying to master the rules to scaling. And then I have a play in my back pocket. And I really don't talk about plays. This will be the only one I mention where, I've been going back and forth to California frequently. There's been a strong tactical play for that, but you'll see Megalodon Marketing have about a 40-person headquarters here in Brickell, down in the financial district of Miami. You'll see us in the Bank of America building down in Los Angeles with about another 40-person team in about an 8 to 12 month period of time. So I'm really excited for that. That'll bring a lot of opportunity.
Awesome, man. I love hearing that, and I appreciate you sharing that right here on the Power of Great.
Exclusive, man. It's exclusive.
I love it. I always love the exclusive stuff, man. But so before we wrap up the show, where can people find out more about you, find out more about Megalodon Marketing, and how can they reach out to you and the team to see if you're a good fit for one another?
To be honest with you, I would say just start at the top, man. Start at the social media. That's the best place to get in contact with me directly. I can give out company numbers and all that, but I really like the style of entrepreneur that you have listening to this. So all my social medias are the Jeremy Haynes. So Facebook, the Jeremy Haynes. Unfortunately, there's some other Jeremy Haynes in the world, man. They got my name, but I'm the Jeremy Haynes. You know what I mean? Facebook's where I do a lot of my content. My Snapchat's also popping. Wherever you want to find me, man, you can find me. I'm everywhere. I'm omnipresent.
I love it. Yeah, they're the Jeremy Haynes, by the way. That's why I also changed mine to I am Matt Crane for real, because there were some other Matt Cranes out there that, hey, so. But anyway, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Every single week, I leave you with this. Success is not measured by what you step out of, rather by what you are truly committed to step into. And I just appreciate you each and every week allowing me to host the Power of Great podcast and bring guests such as Jeremy Haynes to deliver the goods for each and every one of you. We'll see you all next week.